True review here! Top 10 video game assassins. Jack Ryan. It's easy to forget, but Jack Ryan is actually an assassin created by the joint works of Frank Fontaine and Dr. Sejong as a way of assassinating Andrew Ryan, thus winning the Rapture Civil War for Frank. Although Jack doesn't know it, he's actually a very capable hitman who will respond to the famous phrase when uttered, forcing him to unwillingly carry out any order that's given to him, including murder. Travis Touchdown. Although being an avid nerd by day, this douchebag is also a badass assassin by night. As a result of not being able to fork over the wonga when new video games come out, or, God willing, he's actually considering about buying an Xbox One, he decided to get the cash from taking up part-time assassin's work. Unfortunately for him, Travis then realises that he's now become a target for other aspiring assassins, and so now Travis is left with only one option. Become the ultimate assassin. Or die. Actually, that's two options. Yeah, because no one would try to take his place as #1 assassin if he ever got to that position.
And hold on tight, cause it's gonna be wilder than any 8-second ride.
Cristi! The silver-haired British assassin from the Dead or Alive franchise comes in at number 8. Having been hired to be a constant thorn in the Douglas family's side for many years, Cristi will use any dirty trick in the book to make sure that her objectives are met. Although most of her efforts were originally aimed towards Helena, Cristi has been known to use her sexy martial arts moves on anyone who would be a hindrance to her in her murderous path. And this is one assassin that's easy on the eyes, you know what I'm saying.
Lane Goodman.
7!
Nina Williams. Following on from the fighter video game theme, we have Nina Williams from the Tekken series. This Irish badass was brought up as an assassin originally by her father, but after he died, she started working out as a knife for hire until being recruited to assassinate Heihachi and thus getting dragged into the Iron Fist tournament. Despite her beauty, she is one sharp and poisonous fighter, due to her martial arts being based around assassination techniques, and also as a result of her own violent and unstable personality. If you're wondering just how dangerous and deadly she is, well then just remember for a second that the one person she hates the most in the world is her own sister Anna, also an assassin. Yep, there's definitely some childhood issues at play here. Corvo Attano. This masked crusader is the main character in the 2012 game Dishonored. Having been framed for the assassination of the Empress of Dunwall, Corvo must now join with the underground rebels and prove his innocence by taking down the key figures at the centre of the Imperial plot. Although he does have the option of not killing anyone during his missions, Corvo definitely has the ability and potential to kill his enemies from afar, up close, stealthily, and out in the open whenever the situation arises.
And my wife is dead.
I'm sorry to hear that.
High five!
Grey Fox. The Grey Fox first appeared in the original Metal Gear games, but would become first known to many of us in Metal Gear Solid. The Grey Fox is essentially a resurrected ninja thanks to new and very controversial medical breakthroughs. He is able to kill without fear, leaving a trail of blood and bodies wherever he goes, and is able to infiltrate any structure. And although he might get caught in doing this, and whilst he definitely isn't the most stealthy of assassins, the fact is that he doesn't need to be. If you're in the same room as him, and you are his enemy, then prepare to get used to having a sword in your stomach, because that's what's inevitably gonna happen. Unless you're Solid Snake, of course. HK-47. One of the most memorable characters of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic series, HK-47 is presented to us as a droid assassin. Being a recruitable character to your squad, HK-47 has proved himself to be a most reliable addition to the team, and is probably most famous for calling the player a meatbag. And as robot assassins come, they don't really get more colourful than this one. Thane Krios. Thane is a Drell from the Mass Effect series who has spent most of his life as a professional hitman. There's no target out of reach for him, and no one is safe once you're on his list. Despite being infected with the deadly Keprel syndrome that is slowly destroying him, don't worry, it doesn't affect humans. He's not at all slowed down by it, still being able to take out any and all that cross his path. Agent 47! The star of the Hitman series had to get in somewhere on this list. As the series title gives it away, you play as a hitman known only as Agent 47. He is the perfect assassin, having been brought up and literally created to become the ultimate weapon of murder. He is able to read every situation and landscape, and is able to determine which is the best way of taking out his target, sometimes in a very subtle way, and sometimes in a grand gesture, whatever the situation calls for. And even when the shit hits the fan, Agent 47 is so good at what he does that unforeseen consequences are in no way of an issue to him. Ezio Auditore Babadaboopy. Unfortunately, only one character from each franchise can make it onto this list, and I ended up choosing Ezio. The reason being is that Desmond wasn't really an assassin until the second game in the series, Connor is largely a forgettable character, and Altair nearly made it, but thing is, he can't swim, so Ezio won the title of #1 assassin this time round. Having been raised in Florence under the wing of the Medici banks, Ezio's world is thrown into disarray when most of his family is suddenly and unexpectedly executed. Finding out that his father was part of the Brotherhood of Assassins, Ezio dons the cowl and begins his bloody path of revenge. But it doesn't take him long to realise that he's only just scratched the surface of what's going on, and thus Ezio finds himself at the centre of an ancient underground war that has been ravaging for centuries. He is able to assassinate from almost anywhere, and he is the only character on this list that uses his environment as a weapon, making him the possible contender for the most deadly assassin of all time. And that was the top 10 video game assassins. Stay tuned next time for the series finale, but until then, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and catch up on all the previous True Review episodes. Also, if you're having technical problems with your PC games, then try heading over to Robert Court's tech support and seeing if the answers lie there. See you soon.
Do you know what's there? Waiting, beyond that beach.
Bacon and eggs.
Take it! It's yours!